Play that same song again.
Yes, everyone, welcome to the All Cantina Band Podcast.
Hey, I got a new Bamfa flute, guys. So I figured I'd play you a little song. That same song again. Here it goes. My flute broke.
Well, I guess we'll just have to revert to being a reread podcast again.
I hope I don't break my book, too.
All silliness aside, yes, this is Jedi Master David and Darth Austin back again for another episode of the Contingency Plan Podcast.
How you doing?
That's all you have to say. How you doing?
Well, you know.
How you doing?
Jedi Council, how you doing? I just imagine that's how they start their council. Everyone walks in, and Yoda's like,
hello there.
Doing how you?
Hello there. Yes, another week goes by, another chapter we will reread. So yeah, we will. We'll kick right into Jedi Council. How is it going this week?
Well, it's that chapter in the cycle, food coma. We just had our dinner with the patrons, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, another
nice
dinner with the
full
patrons
and
down.
fat and relaxed.
Yeah, we kind of decided we're probably just going to do them whenever we can. I mean, the original thought was just to put one up a month, but
It's too fun.
We'll be posting them more often than that. You know, maybe probably at least 2 times a month.
Yeah,
and those are just we get some food, we sit down, we talk about whatever randomly hits our minds, and those are posted on Patreon. And if you'd like to help out the channel and contribute, you can head on over to patreon.com/contingency plan podcast, and there are a couple reward tiers there, and we're gonna tool that as time goes by. But obviously, right now, that's kind of our big reward tier there right now is the dinner with the patrons, and you just grab some food and sit down and listen to us yak.
Maybe not the terrible fast food that we eat, but eat something.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're gonna add some stuff to that as time goes by. You know, we're just kind of starting out here. We're 3 months in, I believe. So
something like that.
We're just getting our footing in the podcast world, and
yeah, it's been fun though.
It really has.
You know, I've done some YouTube stuff and other podcast stuff, so I kind of had a little bit of a leg up over you when we started. But
I've dreamed. I've only dreamed though.
Yeah, but I mean, we're getting some stuff going, and it's been a lot of fun at this point. But yeah, you know, this week has been a little bit shorter work week. I did take last Monday off, but I'll tell you what, I was real happy for the weekend. I'm kind of beat and ready to kind of just do not a whole lot.
Yeah, I got 1 day left, and then I got birthday party tomorrow night, and birthday party Sunday.
Yeah.
Good times, and I'm not doing much other than that. I'll be working on my truck a little Monday, I'm sure. Getting that working, but yeah, I'm ready for my 3 days off. I'm sure you are too. Well, 2, but
well, yeah, no, I'm with you there. So, yeah, what else? Anything else going on then in the life of a Dark Lord?
Oh, nothing that we can talk about on a family podcast.
No corrupting kyber crystals or anything like that?
Well, that's a pretty violent process, too. We can't really talk about that in a family podcast.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, I mean, let's see. I'm getting sleep. I mean, I haven't been pulled into the Call of Duty obsession. That came out yesterday, so I'm proud of myself. No, really, I slept last night. I didn't play Xbox till 4 in the morning. But it's funny, all my coworkers did. They were completely useless today.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of them took a day off. The other one thought he was going to fall asleep in a boat. I mean, it was great. Good times. You can always tell gamers on Call of Duty week because they pretty much release the same time every year, and yeah, you can always tell everyone's really tired for that entire week.
For
it's
sure,
just great.
For sure. I don't really game much anymore, so I guess I don't really relate to that very much.
I don't Call of Duty anymore, really.
Call of Duty. Gosh, it's been a long time since that
game series.
Well, if there's money to be made, there's money to be made. Yeah, I don't know. I think aside from that, that's been about it. I mean, we can maneuver on into the HoloNet here a little bit. However, really, not a ton of news that I really saw out on the wire. Kind of while I was surfing around. Have you seen any recent news that you wanted to call out?
Too much speculation, honestly. Nothing concrete enough to really talk about. A lot speculation on Luke and what's going to happen in the new movie, but nothing exciting or solid. It's going to be rough for the next few months just hearing a bunch of junk before we really get to know more about this new movie coming up. Mm-hmm. We do have stuff to look forward to. Of course, we've already mentioned the comic series coming out. Haven't heard anything else about that, but we're only about a month and a half away from the release of that.
Yep.
Pretty excited about that. Didn't see anything new about the TV show either.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that in our last episode. Obviously, there's basically just a description that came out, a teaser, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence. I think with the money that's being put in, it should be good.
There's no reason it shouldn't be with that amount of money, but
yeah,
Waterworld had a pretty big budget too.
I liked Waterworld, so I don't want to hear that.
I did too, but it didn't do well.
No, it was considered one of the biggest flops in movie history, which is crazy because I actually liked it. But I like those 80s, 90s post-apocalyptic Mad Max type deals.
Lone Wanderer in his road leathers and a shotgun with a dog following him. Road Warrior.
Yeah, Mel Gibson back when people liked him. I mean, aside from that, there was a little tidbit here. This writer, Chuck Wendig, and I think that a lot of this is speculation. He's been working on, Shadow of Vader. It's a 5-part Star Wars. I believe this is just in the comic book. I don't think it's like a full graphic novel, but I haven't really read up on it a ton. But he's claiming that Marvel fired him for basically on his social media being too vulgar and involving too much in politics.
Really?
Yeah.
But Disney didn't.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like different department you're kind of looking at here. I don't really know. I mean, I think that could be subjective. Obviously, we're not probably going to get both sides of the story there. Usually when you're dealing with bigger companies, they don't really release things about it. So you kind of get to say whatever the heck you want, and the company just says, well, you're fired, so we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to get really into the substance or really the rationale or the issues that he was kind of tweeting about, because I don't mind talking politics with people, but I don't really want this podcast to be about politics. Because
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important for us as U.S. citizens to be engaged and knowledgeable about what we're talking about.
Yeah, and we all have a right to have an opinion, which social media, everyone has an opinion.
Yeah,
and
sometimes it gets a little attacky.
It can be. My personal opinion, whether or not he was talking about politics or being vulgar, all I really care about is, did he write those Vader comics well?
Well, and that's
I hate to say it, but that's all I care about.
But here's the issue: companies, they don't want to appear. A lot of companies, not all, but a lot of companies, they don't want to appear to be biased because they want to be relatable.
Reach a wide audience.
So sometimes this just happens where you'll have an employee kind of go a little bit off on their own rants, and you know what? That's their right. I mean, there's a First Amendment that protects you, but it doesn't protect you
from losing your job.
From losing the job.
Yeah. Especially in our state.
Unless
where
it really is completely and utterly unfair.
Right.
But, this is just one of those deals where, there was a time when just acting civil was the way to be. And now with the advent of social media, people appear much tougher behind a computer screen. And that's just a fact. That has nothing to do with your political affiliation, your age, your race, or whatever. It just is a fact. There are a lot of people that feel a lot tougher through a screen because the interaction, the face-to-face, the interpersonal conversation isn't there, so you have a break in reality, technically.
Yeah, and it's hard to consider showing respect when you really aren't talking one-on-one with a person.
Right, and there's a lot going on in the political landscape that's been very toxic.
I agree with that.
No matter what you might think about our politicians or whatever, and I have my opinions on that, as a country, we have to kind of, I will say this, as a country, we do kind of need to get back, to a form of togetherness, kind of just bringing it back together, and being friendly with each other and not sitting there and trying to tear each other down. And just civility, man. Yep. Just getting back to a little bit of civility. But it is important to have civil conversations. It is important to read up on your facts. It is important to vote. It is important to be well informed before you vote and not just vote based on a meme.
Or a color.
Or some sort of, party lines or some sort of, rash video or attack ad. Or something of that nature. That's not what you want to portray. That's not what you want to be. At least you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and this is of course all just our opinions, but
right. But no, I mean it is. It is.
You're all welcome
crazy.
to share your own. I
right.
mean, we're not going to talk politics on this channel.
Yeah,
much at all, but
we're going to try and steer clear of it because I mean we're just trying to talk about Star Wars, but but again, this was Star Wars related.
Well, hopefully it doesn't affect his career with Star Wars and Disney. I haven't personally read those comics, but I know that you have read a couple and do enjoy them quite a bit.
I'm not sure if this is in the same series, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
So
really?
I'm just, I don't. I'd
the
have
name
to.
sounds familiar, and I feel like I heard it from you.
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, I've read quite a bit of things, but anyway, let's kind of move on a little bit from that. I don't want to really get super down, but I do want to talk about one other thing here, and we'll get an opinion, and then we'll move into the chapter because there has been obviously speculation is rampant, and we've had a lot of speculation across multiple years ever since this new trilogy got started, and one of the things. And they call it leaks, you know what I mean? It's all leaks.
I love it.
But,
insider information.
But it's a pretty very widely speculated upon subject, and that's Rey's parents. So that's kind of become a little bit rampant. So let me first start by asking you, who do you think Rey's parents are? Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't think we've seen them in any of the movies so far. Honestly, it doesn't really affect the movie all that much because we didn't know Anakin's father. I mean, sure, there was a lot of canon to, lean towards him not really technically having a father. And if he did, it was probably Plagueis. But
I really hate that. It's not Plagueis. It's if it's going to be anyone,
no, it's the Force. Technically, it's not Plagueis.
No,
I
still think it's Sidious. I still think Sidious put into motion that whole series of events.
But when you think about it, no matter what, it's just a reaction. Anyway. His birth was the Force reacting to them, not them creating it.
We could
get into that.
We could deep dive real far,
and we
that,
probably will at some point. But honestly, I don't really care all that much. Do you?
No, not
I don't
really.
feel like it makes any difference in it. And a lot of people say, "Oh, she's a Mary Sue. She's got too many powers, so it would be cool to see who her parents are." Not really, because Anakin didn't have any special parents, and he had a lot of power. It's just Force potential.
Yeah, I mean, it
doesn't matter.
As far as Rey's parents, initially when the series came out, I kind of wanted to incorporate a little bit more of what is now not canon, and
I know exactly what you're
have that kind
about,
of twin thing.
Yeah. And I thought they were going that
twins.
route for a while, but I was kind of disappointed, honestly, when they didn't.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you know,
They
due
still
to
could, I
ages and
guess.
time frames, it's not going to happen.
I'm saying they could do it in a different way. I mean, they still could make.
I think
Kylo
it'd be really hard. JJ is already going to have to do backtracking, really. I think
For sure.
to get Episode 9 on track. Personally, I'm not trying to really get down on Rian Johnson, but I think he is going to backtrack quite a bit in order to
really
get
getting
what
down
he.
on him because that's his trilogy and he
Well,
didn't get
it
a
was
say
his
in one of
movie.
them. So
True.
Well, I'm not talking Ryan. I'm
Oh,
talking
I
JJ.
gotcha,
It was his
gotcha.
trilogy.
Well,
he didn't get a say in the middle of it, but
but I mean, Episode 9 was originally not going to be JJ. They brought him in, I think, to try and clear it up because I think I've said this before. It's a mistake to have a trilogy with 3 different directors.
yeah.
It completely muffs the vision, and it doesn't allow you to have any cohesion, in my opinion.
Could you imagine being the third, doing
I
the
would
third
hate it.
movie? That would be a nightmare.
I would hate that so much.
Whoever did the first, they could care less.
Yeah. But you know, as far as raised parents, my opinion is that if you're not going to give me the twins, then just have them be no one. Just literally, it's not a footnote, but it's just like, you know, your parents were your parents. You know, the Force chose you for a reason.
Yeah.
Put it more on the Force, her sensitivity towards it, and have her have that mentor in Luke. But obviously, they killed him off, which I'm still not a big fan of. But, I mean, it's fine. It kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I would like him to stick around a little bit longer. But there again, I mean, I could say 100 different things of what I would like to have had the movies be, but
Do you think they will tie her into the old Star Wars universe, though, by somebody? I think they will because of
I don't see it.
with
I
the
think
emphasis on family that Star Wars has always had. I think they will.
not with The Last Jedi. If we would have continued on the vision of J.J. Abrams from Force Awakens, I would say yes, because they were gearing towards it. The way in which Han sort of it was kind of awkward. I think there was a lot more meaning behind that.
Oh, I do too.
You know, I think again, without The Last Jedi, I feel like he knew who she was. His ship being on Jakku was not again, at that time was not coincidental.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way his ship just got, you know, stolen or what. It just doesn't happen. I'm sorry. In my opinion, that just doesn't work for me. So I think JJ had a vision.
And it was a very clear vision, I thought, from the moment I saw the movie the first time. I thought that's the route they were going.
But The Last Jedi, I feel, blew that out of the water.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you could still
They blew
reel
a
it
lot
back,
of
but
things out of the
I just think it wouldn't make a lot of sense if you're going for cohesion.
Again, I think that's another reason, even though neither of us really want to see it, there's a good possibility of a part 1 and 2.
No, I think if you're gonna do it right, there has to be 2 parts. There's too many unanswered questions, and if you want the movie to flow and not be like a rush, I think you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to, but we'll see. We will see. But anyway, yeah, that was another bit of speculation. I've just seen it pop up on several channels and articles, and I kind of felt that it bared a little bit of time to kind of talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, anything else you want to talk about before we head into the chapter?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation going on about what they're going to do with Luke's character, because there's still plenty they can do between flashbacks, Force Ghost moments, and the like. What do you think, personally, what JJ will do with Luke?
He'll be back as a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
I think
think
he'll be back as
flashbacks would
Force
be
Ghost.
awkward. I think that'd be a way for him to clean up the mess that is Luke's character, but you really can't.
I could
all that
also
much.
see that, though, too, to try and flesh out a lot of what he was trying to show initially, and then some of the stuff that Ryan was trying to show. So I could see them. Okay, the movies that I wanted, and this is completely.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
It just
a few
doesn't
times.
matter. The movies I wanted, I wanted that directly after, basically the Aftermath series of books. So directly after the Empire fell, and then when the Empire basically was dissolved before the First Order. I wanted something in that realm when Luke would have been starting his Jedi or his order.
Basically, the timeline we're reading right now, a little bit before.
Yeah,
a little bit before.
Yeah, this kind of timeline, and then you sort of have that whole build up in episode 1, and then then you kind of have the shadow of the First Order, episode 2. But the problem with that is, and the reason why I don't think they did it, is that would have mirrored far too closely the original trilogy.
True. Very true.
But I don't care. Because I wanted to see more.
Well, they said that about Force Awakens anyway. They said it was A New Hope reskinned.
But I don't think it was.
I don't either. I
I
videos showing the comparisons. You can compare any two movies.
You could say that, but I don't necessarily think so. But I could see why people say that. But anyway, I wanted more. I wanted the continuation of the Skywalker story, and kind of sort of how the universe played out. But that would have been a very different movie, and maybe we'll talk about that more in depth someday. But
yeah, my thoughts on it: we can't fix having one last adventure with Luke.
Well,
but we can fix Luke's personality as a Force ghost.
They would have had to have done that years ago. They would have had to just ages of people. They would have had to have done that years ago. Like when George Lucas was basically fumbling around and not doing it.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Because you just have to consider the actors' ages to try and go back to that time. It would have been off. Yeah. So,
but I do hope that they get Luke back to his fun personality.
Yeah, but I mean that's
emo Luke needs to be gone.
But
he's a Force ghost. He can't be emo anymore.
But at the same time, I mean, you got to think about what he would have went through. So I kind of
I agree.
What they put the character through. I understand the reason, but yeah, it would have been epic if he would have just raised his X-wing and flew off. And I mean, if you read the novelization of The Last Jedi, there's a part in there right before the the little connection scene between Rey and Kylo in the hut, where he was ready. He actually had that charge. He was like, Rey's right, I got to go. And then he barges in on him and obviously loses that. But I mean, there was that hope again. And we want to see that because we read these books and we grew up watching the Skywalker story and having him be this, really honorable, over the top hero character. And, now we kind of get the jaded, damaged anti-hero.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll all be interesting to see. It's a lot of waiting and hoping for right now.
We'll see. And we'll eventually do some more speculations, probably in video form for the YouTube page, which coincidentally, if you haven't stopped over at the YouTube page, we do post the podcast on YouTube as well, but we have some videos, and we have some more videos planned. We just really need to get on it and start working on them a bit. But YouTube, the Contingency Plan Podcast is there. And make sure to check us out on Facebook. Give the page a like. Again, just the Contingency Plan Podcast on Facebook.
You can also reach us on Gmail.
Yep, TC Plan Podcast
at gmail.com.
Yep, there you go. And those avenues are there if you want to ask us questions or pose some theories that we can discuss on the show. Kind of fix those in our HoloNet series and just kind of give them a whirl if you want our opinions of it, and we can chat back and forth and kind of portray, bring up your opinions as well. But those are a couple avenues if you want to get a hold of us. So
sure. All right. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into this chapter. And I apologize ahead of time, getting over a cold here. So if my voice sounds a little off,
I don't think it does. I think you sound all right. So yeah, we got chapter 13.
Yeah, minus 13. That's quite a bit.
Chapter 13 minus 13.
Quite a bit of planning and foreshadowing.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
No, I only caught that after going back to the start of this chapter 10 minutes ago. I didn't really pay attention to the chapter name when I read through it.
Yep. So we start out in the point of view of Kip Duran with his squadron, 12 Avengers. That's kind of such a corny.
But it's 12 normal people and 2 Jedi.
Yes. So obviously, Kip,
we go from rogue to, well, that's how many people are in the squadron.
right. Well, we left Kip in it was last chapter where they blasted off to music and fireworks and much Anakin fanfare.
What kind of music?
No, Mon Calamari music or whatever it was, right? Orchestral.
Orchestral music.
We know how to talk here.
Yeah.
So
we speak American here.
American. Sorry, gonna have a couple of off mic coughs from me too. I had
my off mic.
Yes, I had my yearly cold, but I usually keep that lingering cough, which is super fun.
Yeah, same here.
So anyway, we start out with Kip here, and basically he's starting here. He's doing a little bit of scheming, I would call it.
Yeah, fantasizing, scheming.
Right. He thinks pretty highly of his squadron here. He obviously realizes it's nowhere close to Rogue Squadron, which it never will be. Because come on.
No, it never will be.
But he has this idea, and he made the offer to the three solo children, Jason, Janna, and Anakin, to kind of join. And he knows that with their names, quote names, that it would bring a lot more notoriety and fame to their group. And he starts talking about, what are we going to name it? The 1,005?
Yes, Kip. That's what we're doing.
He's super.
If they got another Jedi, they could name it the 12.5.
Oh God, there you go.
That'd be great.
If you had 12 and 12, just call it double.
The dozen and dozen.
Now the double, just basketball terms. He's got a double now. But I mean, really, he doesn't expect to get them all, or even any of them, really. But he does inundate that if he was good to get any, it's Jaina. But
I don't know. I think it's Annie.
I don't think so. But his thing is that if she were to join, because he acknowledges here that despite his swagger, she beat him to a pulp in that course. And he realizes there's no way he will ever be able to beat that mark. So if Jane were to join,
who would lead?
Yeah. Would he continue leading? Would they follow her? He does talk about his apprentice, Miko. What do you think?
I'd say Miko.
And who is described as a quiet and unassuming type who spent most of his time practicing with his lightsaber or just sitting alone under the starry canopy, held no apparent aspirations of leadership. But he is Kip's apprentice. So he's the two.
Yeah.
He's his wingman.
Yeah.
But
his R2.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the monologue that he has here. But they do have this mission. So let's see here. Ooh, I'd have to. I gotta read ahead. But yeah, he does kind of talk about, before we get into the mission, I guess I do want to mention this too. So he does kind of talk about Luke a little bit here.
Yeah.
And sort of Luke's. I don't really know. Luke doesn't really give him his opinion, but he does. He is kind of a little bit stern and disapproving of what Kip and his Avengers are doing. And Kip doesn't really understand if it's like, if Luke thinks it's below what a Jedi should be doing, or if it's like an ethical type of thing. Because obviously Han, his brother-in-law, was a smuggler, pretty notorious smuggler, and he's kind of thinking about, is that Luke's motivation? Personally, I just think Luke, thinks of it more as you're just a bunch of kids running around doing crazy stuff, and you have no sort of guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're also commanding 12 non-force sensitives around too, so.
Right.
Almost like a clone trooper setup there. Yeah, we don't want to do that again.
Exactly. Oh, let's see. So where are they going? They are going to the Haleska system. Belkanen? Have we heard that? Have we heard that planet before?
No.
I don't think we've ever heard of that planet before. No, of course we have. That's where the Exgal station is. That's where our scientists are. And obviously, despite Well, yeah. Despite Yeoman Carr's efforts, the word has gotten out.
Yep.
And the Avengers are coming.
How many times did you think of that when you read through this? Like, are these the Marvel Avengers?
I guess. But anyway, that's where they're going now. You know, they're basically, they don't really have a sense of danger, so to speak, but they do want to basically check up on the scientists. So
Right.
they're heading into unknown waters here, and we're going to get back to that. But let's switch gears.
Luke didn't even begin.
Luke. Yep. Obviously, we left our last chapter with Han and Chewie in their TIE fighter running the belt, doing doubles, you know, Serena and Venus Williams style. And, you know, the ship was damaged. Their shields went down. They went to bounce off an asteroid and effectively crippled their ship.
How damaged was it?
Pretty damaged.
They lost a wing, guys.
Yeah, they did. They lost one of the wings. Luke does go out into the asteroid field to look for them. And he does see that wing floating past, and basically he thinks the worst. He thinks that Han and Chewie bit the dust.
Yeah, there's a bit of an emotional little moment, him considering what... I mean, that's basically his best friend. He got pretty emotional.
Now, an interesting thing here, though, is that when he flies in the asteroid field, where was that part here? Because he basically, you know, again, this is kind of illustrating his piloting skills are still very sharp. He's, you know, just plowing through this space here with the use of the Force and instinct.
Yep.
A little bit of both. Jason, you need both.
Jason.
Oh, goodness.
Once again, Luke flying without any aid.
Yeah, which, you know, is always always cool.
Things went to heck in a handbasket last time he did that. You know, things blew up.
He doesn't have shields.
That's right.
And we kind of figure out a little bit about their whole shielding thing that Lando has here. It's basically, what would you call it, like a cumulative or hive-minded shield. Basically, like
something like that, yeah.
You know, you could essentially knock the shields out. I don't, you know what? I don't remember exactly how that all went. Do you remember how he sort of explained it? Because basically,
I really don't.
what I got from it is that if you were able to knock, say, the power out from these shields, it would take the shields away from every ship, not just one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one centralized ship, and this is kind of the bug, and this is sort of the reason why, you know, Han and them, they lost their shields. It wasn't anything that they did. It's just kind of a flawed shielding system. And Lando and Luke get into a little bit of an argument here after a little bit. But let's get back to the rescue mission. So, you know, Mara, Leia, and the children are all kind of balking in his ear. You know, they're really worried, obviously.
And then he mutes them all.
He does. But, you know, he sees that wing float past and he thinks the worst. But he does finally find the ship. Han and Chewie were able to land it on the back of an asteroid, which is impressive with no stabilizing wing. And I don't know, he was kind of like, well, I don't know what they had for thrusters either, but they did it.
And what were they doing on that asteroid? What do they do best?
Sitting there yelling at each other.
That's right.
You know, Han got a little beat up there, has a little blood, you know, on his face, and Chewie's screaming and stuff. Luke gets a little bit of a laugh out of that, but he does come up to him, and you know, they don't have communications. They lost communications. Yep. They can hear him, but they can't respond back. And then, you know, how do we get him out of here? Because Luke's just in a tie, so he can't, like, do anything with him.
Right.
But Lando does send out a...
tractor beam mobile.
the tractor beam mobile to tow him out. And, you know, Luke kind of said, oh, this is, Han's never going to live this one down. You know, he had to be rescued by Lando's, you know. So they do tow him back in. Let's see here. What were they saying?
Well, kind of got into the argument between Lando and Luke here. Basically, Lando's like, well, it's just another layer of protection. Luke's like, yeah, and it changes the psyche of the pilot because they think they're invincible. You know,
yeah.
It's basically that being on the edge of disaster is what sharpens their skills.
Right. So apparently, this is actually a little piece of that technology here. So Boat Runner 1 is apparently, it seems to be, at least if I'm reading this correctly, like the centralized ship that, if this thing breaks down, these ties don't have shields. And that's kind of what happened. Apparently, what did it say here? So the ion generators were still working on Belt Runner 1, but they couldn't get the power boost signal out to the ships. So, and this gets into the whole fact that Luke went into the field without shields. So the tie itself apparently doesn't have its own independent shield generator, which is kind of stupid.
Well, I believe they mentioned that in a previous chapter that was removed. Because I believe the ties
is that what they were saying?
The ties in lore had shield generators.
Oh, yeah,
even
true.
The very weak ones. I mean, they're basically kamikaze ships.
They are.
But yeah, I believe they were removed to accommodate for the belt. We'll just say the Belt Runner 1 system. Yep. The repulsors.
Yep, and Luke and Lando have a philosophical difference about that. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on that. Lando obviously thinks it's a good idea. Luke doesn't, but Luke's kind of the engineer. Lando's the businessman. So it's like arguing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. So Han does ask, "Did we beat Moss and Twingo?"
I love the response to that.
Yep. We lost them at 4:41.
The exact time that they had.
Yep. And they did wind up, but Lando was like, well, just give them 5 seconds for, whatever.
It's a new record. Chewie's getting mad.
Yeah. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
Hey, I already did once.
Yeah, that's true.
Chewie did try and kill him if it hadn't been for the Solo family.
Yeah, they basically all had to hold back. Yeah, Chewie, obviously, I don't think he would have really hurt him, but give him a nice little choke out. Whatever, it's fun. But yeah, they beat the record. Woohoo! And thus goes back to Kip and the Avengers.
One little bit of information, though. I don't know if you caught it or not. Chewie was the one to land them on that asteroid.
Yeah, I mean, Han and Chewie were trying to be humble. They're obviously lifelong great friends, but at the same time, Han, he basically got his head banged, and Chewie was really the one that did the landing in, the absence of Han kind of not having his senses at that moment. And obviously, they're both great pilots, but together they make a pretty formidable force.
Yeah, and they have such a bond. I mean, they even touch on that by him basically saying they looked as any accomplishment from one as accomplishment from both of them.
Exactly. So, let's move on here a little bit. We do have the 12 Avengers. They show up in the Haleska system. Little bit of scanning going on here. 7 planets, none of them widely spaced. Kip's unit, R5L4.
Yeah.
His little droid's beeping and whirling and telling them a little bit about what they have here. The 5th planet's gas giant. They do find the mysterious 4th planet, an intriguing ball of ice.
With a comet tail.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and Miko, says, I'm getting a reading from the 4th planet. What would they be getting for that? They're guessing, is it a smuggler's den? That'd be super cool.
Yeah, there's smugglers in there. Go say hi.
Yeah, well, they are smugglers in a way. And then another scientific outpost, so on and so forth. They are a little cautious. Put their shields up, get their torpedoes ready, get into formation here, and they start to see some movement. Little
off-planet movement.
Off-planet movement. Are they asteroids? Nope, they are not. They're coral skippers. They're enemy ships, and this is interesting. The battle here is interesting, and this is the theme that we're going to have to fight through this entire series. So basically, these coral skippers, as we know them, they swarm. Okay, they don't really have the same amount of firepower, so to speak, and they don't really have shielding either.
Right.
So, at first, our brave pilots seem to be making a dent in them. They're shooting their rockets off. They're doing their thing, breaking off pieces of them.
That's weird how they worded that.
Yeah. Well,
Just breaking apart piece by piece.
Yep. And they're bouncing off, but then they're coming back. So
there's more of them.
Right. And they're not destroying these ships. And that's the problem, is they're not actually destroying them. They're registering solid hits, but they're not actually getting a hold of them. And then the coral skippers start to fight back.
Yep.
They had
lava.
Yeah, volcano what did they say? It was like volcano missiles. Let fly swarms of volcano missiles. And the first ship was a B-wing, was halved again and again in rapid sequence until 1,000 little pieces littered the dark sky.
Wee, violent division. Wee.
Now
or
again,
I guess that'd be multiplication.
Yeah. Well, division, multiplication, they're doing something.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing. We can't get too far in depth here because it's not really explained, but obviously we will. The Yuuzhan Vong have a way to disrupt the shielding of these ships. They basically sap it, and they have these kind of like gravity well type. Because Miko, let me see if I can't
he mentions that. Yeah.
Find his description. Okay. This
gravity well.
Yeah, I felt a tug like a dozen G's pulling me out of my seat, and then a hole in the shield, and then nothing. My droid's babbling about magnetic fields, but I don't know. So essentially, they're using gravity technology and essentially popping a hole in the shields and then just collapsing the shields. So although at full shields, the Yuuzhan Vong's weapons weren't really effective, they can dissipate the shields. And at that point, they're just cutting them apart.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, they start to kill everyone.
Yeah.
They basically destroy.
Becomes half dozen, then the half dozen becomes one.
Yep.
The 1 and 1.
And that gets back to the chapter 13.
Oh,
they killed
minus
13.
Well, possibly.
Yeah. But so Miko's craft is destroyed. Unfortunately, do
they actually say that, or does it just disappear? Because I believe they just kind of say that.
They say it disappeared.
I believe so. That he loses communication.
Okay. Well, it could be. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Eventually.
But Kip basically just abandons him.
Well, he has to. I mean, unfortunately,
he has to get a message out.
There's really nothing he can do. I mean, he's severely overmatched. He's ran into an enemy that they don't know how to fight at this point. They obviously have some sort of technology that is far beyond what we have, and they don't have shields. Their defenses are down. The defenses are down.
It's a trap.
Well, it is.
To answer that, my drives are down. I've been hit. No power. Then
I needed to turn the page.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh, let's see here. So, no time for heroics now. Survival was the key. Survival to return and report. It's basically Kip and then another A-wing are trying to get out. Kip says punch hyperdrive. The other guy says where, and it's just like anywhere. Just hit the hyperdrive. Well,
no coordinates.
Well, once the A-wing hits it, he basically disintegrates. I mean, he basically gets pulled apart. The ship was too damaged.
Yeah.
Kip does wind up getting away, though.
He does.
By the skin of his chinny chin, or the hair on his chinny chin, skin, chin. Two nursery rhyme mashups there.
Somebody's tired.
Yeah, it's getting a little late. Let's see here. So I think that kind of that basically stops that point of view.
Well. There's one little bit of excitement. He saw that he too had not escaped unscathed.
That's right. Yeah.
That he too carried a couple of unwanted passengers, which, by the way, we kind of skipped over that. So it's another creature the Yuuzhan Vong employed to basically bore little holes in the ship, which is what ended up breaking apart the A-Wing.
Yeah.
When it went into hyperdrive.
This is why I keep you around.
Well,
You pick out the details I miss.
yeah. And I just miss big chunks because I get tired when I get tired and I'm trying to read, I'll just like zone out and forget like half a page of what I read.
We just need to start recording these at like 10 a.m. or something like that. Get a nice sleep in.
I'll just come over at like 4 a.m. before you go to work.
Oh God.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, but we do kind of stop there, and then we go back to Han and Lando here. And Lando is basically attempting to get Han to
Serpadal.
Yeah. Do a favor for him.
I know that's wrong.
Yeah, he's like, well, hey, I let you run the belt for free. Shut up, Lando. What does he want him to take here?
A payload.
Yeah, a payload.
An all above table payload.
Yeah, not under the table.
Wink, wink.
Whatever, Lando, you greasy man. He's so good though. But yeah, he's trying to get him to do this little run here, and unfortunately, that's not exactly how it's going to go. They do get. Let's see here. They do get a communique from Kip. It looks like Kip was able to reach out, but they don't have much in the way of detail here. Let's see. Basically, it just says here, outpost in Belkaden, something's going on over there. Did you try and raise them? Nothing coming from the planet but static. There's nothing ever going to come from there again.
No.
We know about that. Let's see here, but it does kind of say, well, Belkadens are kind of on the way to, you could do two things, Han, for me, your old buddy.
Old buddy, old pal, hand.
But it does kind of, Leia sort of offers up, thanks, Leia, for just offering up Luke and Mara. Well, Luke and Mara can go to Belkaden. They've been wanting some time alone anyway.
It's an awkward comment to make.
Oh, goodness. Yep. But, they are going to take this payload out for Lando. They're friends. Han would pretty much do anything for him. And really, when you get down to it, Lando would do anything really for Han. They're just going to be a little greasy about it.
Yeah, they are at every facet of their relationship. They always act like they can't stand each other, but yeah, they're good friends.
Yeah.
And who's going to be going on that little adventure with Han and Chewie?
I don't know. Say it.
Little Annie.
Oh, God, yeah, that's right.
By the behest of Leia, to make up for his little joy piloting excursion a few chapters back. Yep, little Annie will be going on this mission.
Oh, yeah, let's see here. Let's see how they all divide out, because they did kind of divide out here a little bit.
Leia's doing nothing. Jaina and Jason weren't even mentioned. Annie's going with Han and Chewie, and Mara and Luke are going to see what's up.
Oh, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, we're pretty much running out of chapter, aren't you?
Yeah.
I will read just a little last line here. The Millennium Falcon took off an hour later for a one-day trip that would prove to be the most harrowing journey of Han Solo's life.
Foreshadowing and heavy breathing. What's going to happen?
It's kind of funny how much more harrowing can it get. He's been through
sounded like Darth Vader there. I'm so sick.
So overall, kind of a little bit more action in this chapter. We have our kind of rescue of Han. A little bit more of just character building there. We have the first real engagement.
Yeah.
Of the Republic in the Yuuzhan Vong, which obviously went very pear-shaped for us. The Yuuzhan Vong are, they're not many right now, but they're well ingrained.
Yeah, surprise.
They're well ingrained. They have a base. They have technology. They have things and techniques that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for us and for our heroes here, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And Luke and Mara are walking into the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Should be very interesting.
Yeah. What else? Any final thoughts for the chapter?
One of the better ones the past few that we've had. Very exciting. I'm not sure that we've seen the last of Miko.
I would, now that you say that, it would probably be a good capture,
Yep.
sort of little interrogation maybe.
You might see him with what's our favorite? Danny.
Yep, maybe.
Danny Quee.
Yeah, I don't remember every detail of these. I remember some of the bigger overarching themes, but some of the minor details I don't remember from my time of reading these books. But yeah, it should be interesting to see. And really, I mean, the Yuuzhan getting their hands on another Jedi, I mean, that could be fairly significant. Obviously, this whole disease thing that they gave Mara and their sort of misunderstanding of how, she's fighting it, because they don't really know. So, just like with anything, understanding is usually pretty important. But yeah, it should be interesting to see. I'm kind of interested to relearn about, Han's harrowing adventure, the most harrowing adventure he's ever been through.
You think it will be?
Well,
Do you
we'll
remember?
see.
Was it?
I don't remember it. It's been far too long, but yeah, that's pretty much where we leave the chapter. Good, pretty good little chapter. I enjoyed this one. A little longer than what we're typically used to. Not a lot of table setting. A little bit more in the way of meat.
Definitely almost a 20-page chapter. Yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts. Which is definitely longer than what we've had. We've had a few short chapters here recently.
Oh, that's the thing. We had gotten to the halfway point in the book, but I was looking at it. It's like, well, looking at the book, we're not halfway. That just did it for us, so we're good now.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're moving right along. But yeah, guys, again, just if you want to hit us up, talk about the chapter, or if you want to hear anything on the podcast, any of your theories or comments or anything, something we've missed, again, tcplanpodcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook. And yeah, if you want to get into that Dinner with the Patron series, little reward tier on Patreon, you can go ahead and head on over there if you want to support us. That's a good place to go.
Yep.
What else you got to say? Anything else?
Text me on Facebook.
He'll send you memes.
I'll send you my secret stash of memes that I can't post on Facebook because legal reasons.
Well, then we don't want to post them at all. Don't give them to them. Don't give them to them. To shoot their eyes out.
No, it's just copyright, man.
Yeah, okay.
Disney. Gotta get them Disney checks coming again. I spent all mine and yours because they're still sending them to me.
Exactly. I need those Disney checks. Come on, man.
Did you see my new truck, by the way?
Get out of here.
My Disney check truck. It's got Mickey. It's got Mickey Mouse on the hood.
Yeah, you would. All right, everybody. We'll stop boring you here with our after talk, but we appreciate you guys stopping by, and have a great rest of your week.
Yep, and as always, may the Force be with you.